What's good, everyone? This your main correspondent, Alan Taylor, and I'm back in the broadcast room. And this is where we at here. So clearly you see the title of the broadcast. And you see what's going on here with the video that I'm presenting. So we're going to talk about the dynamics. Definitely, the topic of reparations has come up, things like that. It's been coming up for quite some time in this country. Definitely about, the ancestors, about black people's ancestors and slavery and things that happened in this country, stuff like that, to, technically, I guess really African Americans, things like that, so yeah, we're going to see what's going on in this debate right here. So we're going to try to figure out what's going on. Will money actually help the black community, or will it create further demise in the community? Let's go here now. Quarters, nickels, and dimes, people.
All right. Well, good afternoon. Been a long time fan, but
thank you. Just talk right into the mic if you can, please.
Oh, okay. The topic I want to discuss with you today is it's on reparations, but more so why there's a bias towards Black Americans when it comes to reparations. Now, I understand that no Black American alive has ever been a slave. I acknowledge that. However, sorry. The point I wanted to make is that reparations have been given to other ethnic groups, Asian Americans for their incarceration during World War II, Native Hawaiians. Sorry, I wrote it all down, but even former slave owners. Specifically the ones in the North that had to give up their slaves. They were compensated for former slaves. However, why is it that when it comes to Black people receiving reparations, there seems to be a lot of pushback to the point where now, now it's almost laughable to even think about Black people getting reparations for something in the past?
Well, for any of those examples, was there intergenerational reparations given?
No.
So they're not necessarily applicable, right? So those were the actual people that received it because a wrong was done to them.
Correct.
We're talking about something 150 years removed. And also, not every Black person is a descendant of slaves.
Correct.
Some are mixed race. Some are able to prove that. But I think more importantly, we should ask the question, have we spent a lot of money on the Black community the last 50 years? And if so, has it worked?
It's a good question because, obviously there are certain communities in Black America that are not so great. Some of the traumas and problems they have are of their own making. I acknowledge that. Thankfully, I was raised away from all that, 2 loving parents. And
that's the greatest thing that you are, one of the, if not the greatest. And that's my hope for every child, Black, white, or Asian, to have 2 parents.
Of course, that is a great thing. You know what I'm saying? When you have 2 loving parents in the household and things like that, your mindset works different. Your spirit is different. Your soul is different. Your whole, you as a being works different.
A ticket to success. Please continue.
But the example I wanted to use was the 2 Tulsa survivors. They tried to, they're aged, over 100 years old. They've tried to sue the Oklahoma government for reparations for their lost property. And they were actually denied reparations. And to me, when I read about that, because that was kind of the test to see, like, okay, they say reparations shouldn't go to people who weren't directly affected. Well, here we have 2 people who were directly affected, who were there, and they were still denied reparations. So to me, that kind of confirmed that it was never about who was directly affected or not. To me, it just sounds like there's a bias towards Black Americans.
Okay, I don't know about that instance. I'll look into it. But more broadly, I do want to just repeat the point, and something to think about, you don't have to answer it, that we've spent trillions of dollars on trying to improve the well-being of Black Americans since the 1960s. And actually, Black America is poorer per capita and on average in relation to other groups than it was in the 1960s. So I would argue it's actually not a resource or a money thing. It's a values thing. And the values, unfortunately, that are predominantly in the Black community right now are quasi-suicidal.
Fair point. But yeah, basically, I just wanted you to. I didn't know if I was going to change your mind, but it's something I wanted you to think about.
I'll research the example that you gave, and thank you for watching our content and being a supporter.
Definitely.
Would you like a hat?
Signed hat?
Thank you. Yes, sir. Thank you.
Now, my issue with this, and you know what I'm saying, there were great points brought up in this situation here. You know, the reparations, stuff like that. The black gentleman did bring up, you know, a lot of other cultures that were, you know, compensated for the tragedies that happened to them. You know what I'm saying? Charlie did bring up also too that at the same time though too, those people were actually, you know, compensated, you know, while they were still living for that issue. At the same time though too, you know, I get it. You know, it is kind of wild here. You know, we're talking about a situation that happened, you know, almost 200 years ago, you know, and what should have happened was the capitalization should have happened on, you know, the reparations for our community, you know, within the 50s and the 60s. The capitalization for, you know, Black America should have really happened then, as far as getting the true reparations for our community, you know, definitely back in those days. And the reason why, just follow me on this. The reason why I think it should have happened then, because we had more tangible families then. We had more community then in that era, between the 1950s and late 60s. We had more community as Black people then. We could have managed the money for generational wealth a lot better then than we would today. You know, today, if we get reparations and stuff like that, you got a lot of ninjas out here with these broken homes and all types of stuff, and it'll be a lot of chaos. Niggas will be buying Cadillacs and shit. You know what I'm saying? Doing all types of crazy stuff. You know, taking unworthy ass women out on dates and shit, spending all types of egregious ass money, because a lot of these Black men out here nowadays is simps like a motherfucker. They just gonna spend money on women that don't even give a fuck about them. You know, it's a lot that if the Black community get true reparations in the millions, maybe billions in today's society, that a lot of these, you know, unworthy thought process having as individuals would not, you know, be able to manifest that. We see what's going on in these major cities, you know what I'm saying, in Chicago, you know, these Black people and the gangs and stuff like that, they're deleting each other, all types of stuff. How would that work if you give a family, you know, a family of descendants of slaves, you know, $1 million, and their son is a fucking gang member or some shit like that? To have that type of power. And listen, look, we know this is the fucking truth here. Money is power. For some, you know, ignorant fool to have that type of power, you know what I'm saying, he already in the streets and doing a bunch of egregious stuff. That would multiply the thought process. And, you know, money, and we all know this is the truth. Money turns you into a worse person than you already were, or money turns you into a greater person than you already were. It depends on who you are. It depends on, you know, your soul. It depends on, you know what I'm saying, your thought process. It depends on also your upbringing, things like that. You know what I'm saying? You know, for certain type of people, money amplifies the person that you are. And if you're an evil person, money is going to only be a tool for you to be more evil. If you're a godly person, or if you're a respectful person, or if you're a decent person, money's going to help you to amplify that. And, you know, and in some of the Black community, to give reparations from, you know, ancestors past and stuff like that, that actually went through the struggle, that actually were hit with whips, that actually will put dogs on, or whatever you want to call it. And to give these new age Negroes, you know what I'm saying, so much power like that. And I'm talking about the reparations will be in the millions. It ain't just going to be a couple of $100. To give these Negroes that type of power, it will be a travesty, which on top of it, it already is. And it's crazy out here, you know, and at the same time, too, I'm conflicted because it's decent people out here that, you know, ancestors of slaves and stuff like that. Yeah. Okay, cool. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, we would be responsible with that type of power. But there are also, you know, individuals in the Black community that would not be. And that's the issue. And I can see how that will be a lot of part of the issue and stuff like that, you know, to give that type of power to individuals and stuff like that. And, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, money is power. Money is power. That's how laws get made, legislations moved, everything, you know what I'm saying, gets done. Money is power on this planet. And, you know, it's crazy though. It's crazy though. But it was a lot of things being said in this video here. You know, get down in the comments. Let me know what you guys think. You know what I'm saying? For real though. I love the, you know what I'm saying? I love to hear what you guys think. You know what I'm saying? Whether you agree with me or not, or I agree with you or not, it doesn't matter to me. I want to hear the truth from everybody of what they're feeling from their heart. And this is just the facts though, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, my stance on it is that, yeah, in today's society, man, you know, to break this thing down and we give these reparations, man, oh my goodness, you know, definitely with the Black community being as separated as it is not whole like, you know, it used to be at certain times. And I'm not saying that the Black community was ever perfect, because nothing is ever perfect, but we did have a certain level of morality and decorum and respect for one another, you know, even for the men and the women and also the children and stuff like that in our community, you know, that you know, we just don't have it today en masse like we should. And to give that type of level of, you know, responsibility to a whole community for billions upon billions of dollars of reparation, we would have to be a truly healed community to be that responsible for that type of money and that type of power in the economy. But it is what it is though. Shout out to all my subscribers. Mad love to y'all. If you're new to the channel, please hit that like, share, subscribe button. Make sure you ring that bell to be notified whenever I decide to post things. And like I always say,
and that, my friends, is the bottom line.
That, my friends, is the bottom line.